Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday morning. So, I was looking over there on some of my favorite stations on YouTube, and anytime I find something just really crazy or something that maybe I think we need to bring attention to, I think that we should kind of listen to them. It may sound like I am being full of tinfoil hat, but sometimes we need to be, right? I'm going to try to use some of this new stuff that I got. I was given this, some kind of vitamin glow primer. I'm going to try it. It was free, so I love free. But let's get back to this. I'm going to play, it's a little longer of a video. And I think it's very important for us to listen to it and listen to it with, put out all of what you thought about before and just kind of listen to it with the way of sometimes crazy things happen and maybe we should listen. So let me share this video. And I've never shared them before, but it is the Common Sense Show, is with Dave Hodges, and I've been listening to him for years. So sometimes he's crazy, but he does make sense. So let me put him on here while I put on my makeup and we can listen together.
About this, I said, I better really start paying attention to this. This is interesting. And now we've seen the Three-Eye Atlas come out of the sun, for the other side of the sun, and NASA's gone dark, and they've issued a planetary defense warning. What the heck is going on?
Well, it is interesting that you have eminent scientists such as Loeb, such as Kaku, who are speculating, who are willing to speculate publicly that we might be looking at an artificial object. And what they really mean is a spaceship. Or alternatively, something artificial embedded into something organic, like a probe that's disguising itself. And I think that seems to be the real concern. Is this a covert operation? Is this an artificial object that is attempting to disguise itself from the inhabitants of Earth or other planets so that it can maneuver?
And I have to warn you guys, what they're talking about, it really does. It scares me to death. It brings you back to the 80s. Remember all of these movies that they had in the 80s of things coming from other universes to take us over? I don't know.
Close to the Earth, and then do what? Unleash some sort of an assault, some sort of an operation. This sounds like the plot line of a science fiction novel, but this is literally what Avi Loeb and Michio Kaku and some others are suggesting. Now, I think Avi Loeb says publicly he doesn't think that's very likely, but we need to at least consider the possibility. It needs to be considered because it is a potential scenario. And the real question here, and the only question of relevance with Three-Eye Atlas, is whether or not this object is in fact displaying non-gravitational acceleration. That's the issue. If it is not displaying non-gravitational acceleration, then it's probably just a cometary body. If it is accelerating in a non-gravitational mode, then it is artificial, period. It's artificial. And there's some dispute about this. There are a few astrophysicists, such as Loeb, who have suggested, who are proposing that Three-Eye Atlas has demonstrated potentially some non-gravitational acceleration. So, of course, now it's behind the sun. It's going to reemerge mid-November, and probably around the 14th, 15th of this month. And it reached perihelion, the closest approach to the sun, on the 30th of last month. So it's making, I was told, and I'll just tell you this, from some of my sources have told me two things, two very interesting things. Number one, that there is.
Now, guys, listen to this, because to me, this part is one of the scariest parts. So, and I haven't heard this from anywhere else. So listen to this.
There's a lot of consternation in Washington, D.C. about this object. When I asked them, I said, consternation regarding whether or not this thing is artificial or perhaps an impact scenario, if it's natural, right? If it's organic. And he said probably both, but there's definitely some speculation in Washington, D.C. that this thing might be artificial, whatever that means. But he's definitely, my source definitely has a lot of connections in Washington, D.C. So that's the first thing. The second thing, I have heard from several sources, ironically, before this 3i Atlas showed up, that there was an object coming in from deep space. And this thing is extremely large, and it's moving very, very fast. And that it was scheduled to arrive, I think, in 2027. And it seems that it's artificial. This one seems to have been determined to be artificial, and it's not 3i Atlas. So the 3i Atlas sort of has some of these people who I talked to scratching their head rather, because they were focusing on this other object that was coming in. And this other object is known to, according to my sources, the Department of Defense and Space Force and the intelligence community, and it's being taken very serious. Again, an object behind 3i Atlas, a larger object moving at 3/4 the speed of light.
Do we have a size parameter on that larger object?
No, I wasn't told any size except it was very large. So
go ahead. I'm sorry, Tim, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if that's true, then we might be, and this is a big might. I mean, this is, I'm just speculating. If 3i Atlas is a covert operation by a non-human species, then what we could be seeing here is the forward group, the forward operation, in preparation for something coming behind it.
That's what I was
maybe collecting data, maybe just surveying the Earth for this other thing that's coming behind it. Now, that's wild speculation. And then I would be remiss if I didn't add in this final piece of the puzzle here. There is a video that's gone viral of Jeremy Corbell, who made a statement, I think it was in a documentary, that they're going to tell you that there's this object coming in from outer space, that it's artificial, but it's going to be a lie. He says something to that effect. I don't know. And the people that I talk to, by the way, don't know either what exactly is going on. All they know is that 3i Atlas is anomalous. People are worried about it. And the thing behind it is a bigger deal, is an even bigger deal. That's what I've heard.
Now, guys, I am actually going to put his channel in the comments below for you guys to go take a listen to him, and you can listen to the rest of this interview. And for me, I just don't know. But if you remember back in 2020, do you remember they came up with some of these movies? Remember that one about Don't Look Up? I mean, I still hadn't seen that. Maybe I need to take a look at that. But they had all of this stuff, and if you remember, there was some things going on in the universe even back then, because everything was down. They had all of these same ones that are down now because of the government shutdown. All of that's down. So it just makes you wonder. And I know as I was listening to this interview, what this gentleman said was he was like, don't you think it's strange that last time Trump was in office, and guys, let me tell you this before I say this. We're not doing politics here because personally, I don't like any of them. I don't like Republicans. I don't like Democrats. I just think they're all friends together. They're trying to make a divide in with all of us. Because guys, if we could all, they want to divide us. So that's the way I feel. So just because I'm saying something about Trump does not mean that I'm on a Trump train, because I'm not. And I don't have Trump derangement syndrome either. I don't hate him. I just don't like any of them. But think about this. During Trump's last presidency, he came out and he made a different thing to the military, a space force. And why would he do that? Why would he do that? Is there something that he knows? Because, you know, they tell the president all of this stuff. And back whenever I was a child, my dad used to listen to Art Bell. And because my dad drove a truck, and this would be what would be on at, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And he would come home, and I remember him talking to my mom and talking about the whole Area 51 and all of that stuff. That's just weird. Trump made a whole Space Force deal. Why would he do that? Does he know? Did he know at that time that in 2027 that there was going to be something that was non-human that was coming out our way? And isn't it funny that that's come out, that they're looking at something that's supposed to be here in 2027? And then all of a sudden, this 3-eye atlas just boom out of nowhere, and it's right there. And it just makes you wonder, what else have they lied to us about? Have they gone to the moon? Did that really happen? I've got my own theories on that, because to me, if we actually did go to the moon back in the 60s, why haven't we been back? And why have we, I know I'm tripping over my words because I get so excited when it comes to this stuff. Not only why haven't we went back, why are we having trouble finding the technology to actually go there? Whenever we had the technology in 1960 to go there. Not only that, and of course, I wasn't alive in 1960. I was born in 1973. But I do remember my mom and dad talking about them being in school and how, they rolled the TVs in the classroom. They and they saw all this stuff. And my question has always been, if the astronauts went to the moon, they were like talking on a telephone, talking to Washington, D.C. while they were on the moon. How did we have that kind of technology? Because remember, in 1960, we didn't have cell phones. We were, if the doctor was going to call, you didn't go anywhere. You sat at home all day right beside your phone because you were waiting for somebody to call you. Remember? So all of this is just really weird. It's just really strange. And we know that the government prepares us through Hollywood. Do you remember? I remember growing up in the 80s. We were one of the first people to have a VCR where I lived. It was awesome. I remember going to the VHS store and you would rent all these movies and then you were able to stay up all night and watch all the movies. I just thought it was cool. But do you remember all the monster movies they had back then and the alien movies? Were they preparing us because they knew? Well, think about it this way. Were they preparing us because they knew it would be people our age. We were kids back then. And they knew that we were going to grow up and we would be the adults at this time. Was it predictive programming? I just got a lot of questions. Because right now, it just seems like we live in such a world of lies. And it makes you wonder, what is actually the truth? Do we know any truth anymore? Because everything is so jaded. And honestly, guys, with the whole Space Force, last time Trump was in office, I don't believe in coincidence. Things always happen for a reason. Always. Don't you think that? Because have you ever noticed things? People's like, oh, that was a quinky dink. There's not any coincidence in the world. Things always happen for a reason. Just like situations that we get into. Think about any of the situations you got into when you were younger. Those situations actually made us stronger for other situations that we had to get that we were into as we grew up. So I really and truly don't believe any coincidence. And guys, it's a great time to be alive. I can say that because there's so much stuff that happened in the world. And my dad really was, when he was living, he really was a tinfoil hat wearing man. He believed in every single conspiracy theory there was. But if you look into the actual meaning of conspiracy theorist or tinfoil hat wearing, that actually started when John F. Kennedy was assassinated. And isn't it funny they still haven't released all the records in that? So, guys, and I also think that it's awfully funny that a lot of these conspiracy theories that they talked about back when I was younger, because I remember people would laugh at my dad when we go to Christmas, whenever he would talk about some of the stuff that he heard on the Art Bell show. They would laugh about him, because he would talk about Area 51. He would talk about some of these conspiracy theories. But what is so funny and what is so freaky is some of that conspiracy theory stuff, it's actually come true. Look at what people were saying in 2020 about the whole virus situation. Guys, a lot of that turned out to be true as well. So I think my big thing is don't judge people for being a conspiracy theorist. Don't judge them. I just think there's a lot of stuff that we don't understand. And the government puts labels on people like conspiracy theorists. Look at those kooks. They don't know what really is going on. But maybe if we listen more, maybe that's the reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So we can listen. Because you learn a lot sometimes when you keep this zipped and your ears opened. And guys, all of this could be a wild fascination. It all could be a wild fascination. Who knows? But it doesn't hurt, and to actually speculate, it doesn't hurt to keep to keep everything open, and to maybe think about the what ifs. Sometimes I think that you're better to think of the what ifs, because that way we're all prepared. Don't you think? But guys, I am about done. You know, it's Sunday. I am going to go to my Southern Thrift. I love going to the thrift store. I go every Sunday because this is 75% off. They got 3 colors, one's 75, one's 50, and one's 25. I love it. Even if I don't spend money, I just love to go window shop at the thrift store. But guys, think about that. Well, we will probably go live today. It is Sunday. I know I've missed the last couple Sundays, but we're going to try to go live today. If you want to. And try to talk, get everything out, and be able to. I like going live on a Sunday because it's almost like, you remember on Sundays you would go have dinner together. You know, your Sunday dinner, you all get together as a family and you're able to talk, visit, see each other. That's why I like doing lives on Sunday. Oh, and before I go, I wanted to answer somebody else's question that was in the chat. They asked me, what type of foundation do I use? Guys, I keep it simple. I'm not like Gypsy Rose Manson. I use cheap. I use e.l.f. I use about 2 or 3, and then I mix it together. I got a little thing here that I mix it together and just mix them together to make my own shade. I don't spend a lot of money on makeup. I just don't. There's no sense in it. I've used even my that's e.l.f. I think that my mascara is the most expensive thing I have. And the only reason why I got it, let me find it. And this is by L'Oreal. Is, do you remember that whole TikTok thing with, what was that girl's name that she messed up on that whole thing? She was telling about the telescopic mascara, and she faked everything. She had on fake lashes instead of using just this. I bought this way back then because that was such a big thing, and I spent like $15 on this. This was pretty expensive, but I don't spend a lot. I had a friend that buys a lot of makeup, and she spends a lot of money on makeup, but then when she doesn't like it, she'll say, here you go. That's where I got this right here, and I started using it today. Tell me if you see a difference. This is Vitamin Glow Primer. It's got vitamin B, C, and E in it. It's by Smashbox. She gave me that. It's like a whole bottle. And I wouldn't pay for it. That's just too expensive for me. She gave me this, and it's by Smashbox. And then she gave me this right here. It's by Smashbox too. It's some kind of, I don't know, definer. I don't know how to use it. I watched some videos online to see how I use it, but I've been trying that. And then the powder that I use, I got it at Walgreens. It's pretty neat. It's an As Seen on TV thing. I don't even know the name on it, but it was on clearance. It was like 20. Magic Minerals is what it is. Magic Minerals. But they had this on clearance over at Walgreens. It was regular $19.99, and I got it for $3.99, and I like it. It's kind of cool. But anyways, I wanted to share a little of my makeup because someone asked me about it in the comments, and I thought I'd let you guys see. No, I don't use expensive makeup. My makeup brushes I use, I got them from Temu. I don't spend a lot on that. But guys, Thank you so much for getting ready with me. So now I'm about to head to the Goodwill or the Southern Thrift, and I will let you know about what time we're going to go live. It'll probably be around 2 or 3. I love each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.